Hello again, everyone. Ken from Whittling Woods back again. We're going to do a little Christmas scene, tiny little Christmas scene. As you can see, it's real tiny. This is an example one I did. The one we're going to be doing is going to have actually 2 little houses and about 3 trees or so. So we'll do something a little bit with a little bit more detail. The piece of wood I'm going to be using is this little stick here. I believe it's looks like about 5/16 inch square, real tiny, and it came in this little pack of mixed wood my wife had picked up for me at the hobby store. I divided it up into 3-inch marks and then 2 1/2-inch marks. The inch marks will be the trees. They're going to be varying in size a little bit, but we'll leave ourselves an inch for each tree. And they're all simple here. I've done a tutorial on whittling an evergreen tree. I'll have a link for that as well. These are a lot smaller than the ones I've done, but same principle involved here. Real simple. You really can't mess these up. I'm just finding the base for the first tree. I'm just going to, taper down. There's irregular is fine. It just only adds to the look when you add all the little branch layers in. And there you go. So kind of have like a bit of a bullet shape, I guess. And then we're going to just kind of zigzag our way into different layers here. I just kind of go up and down. Get a little closer there for you. And that's all. I'm just going to, kind of go around like this, do a few layers this way, and then we come back and we add just a little bit more detail. Real simple to do. The most difficult thing with this is that it's so small. Get out your reading glasses because these are awful tiny. It was definitely a challenge in that regard. We'll put about 3 or 4 layers in there, and then come back and add a little bit more separation on those layers. There's no system to this. There are no measurements other than the initial length, and even that's arbitrary, really. There you go. We kind of divided it up into, looks like about 4 layers there, and then left the little wood there for the base. There you go. It's all divided up. Now we come back in here, and I just go back on each layer there and divide it up a little bit more, and just kind of crisscross again. Put a few cuts here and there around there, and add as much detail or as little as you choose. Real simple to do these. They're you do them without even thinking, really. Other than thinking about where the sharp edge of the knife is in respect to your with respect to your fingers. It's hard to believe we're about a month, not even a month and a half, I was going to say, but before Christmas in 2025. So I figured I'd get a jump on the Christmas whittles here and get everybody in the spirit. It's a fun time of year. These are great little gift toppers, or just something you can have out as a little Christmas decoration on the mantle, or on a table somewhere. They're fun. They're tiny little things. This is a little bit bigger than the one I showed you initially. You saw from the little introduction in the video there. It's spinning around. It's a little bit larger, but they're pretty small pieces. They don't take up a lot of room, and they're fun little gifts. My daughter and my wife both gave it the thumbs up. So there you go. as you can see, there's really no, I'm just kind of feeling it out as I go and making it, look sort of like an abstract evergreen tree. So, you go back and I find that when I'm doing these little whittles, especially if I'm doing it under the camera, I'm holding it a little further away than I normally would. So I tend to have to go back and do a little bit more cleanup because I don't really see the cuts as well as I'd like to. But that's all. You go back and clean up. They don't take all that long to do. It's pretty much done. Evergreen look to it. We'll saw this one off here. 1, 2, 3. And I'm just going to file the base just to flatten it out a little bit. Might have been a little irregular from the saw cut there. You just use a little nail file, emery board. I was saving the sawdust because I added to the landscape at the end there. Just to, that's what my intention was. I thought it gave the landscape at the end a little more dimension. And here we're starting the second tree. I'm going to breeze through this one real fast. You can see we're doing this about 5 times speed, so you don't have to sit through the whole thing again. I'm trying to make this one a little bit different. I want to make this one just slightly smaller than the first one, but same principle involved. So that's why we're just kind of zooming through this. There you go. Second one's all done. Just cleaning up the base here, and we'll get ready to cut this one off as well. One, 2, 3. And we're done that one. There's 2 down. 1 more to go. You can make. I could have probably kept making a bunch of these. I had a little bit. I only used 4 inches on the. I believe the stick was 8 inches long, so could have made a whole nother one. And this one here, we're going to make just. This is going to be the tallest one. You can kind of see I cut out all the all of that. You didn't need to see it for a third time there. So there you go. We sort of have another little evergreen tree there. So we got our 3 evergreen trees. They're real fun to do. They're quick and easy. Now we'll do a little house here. Make this one, pretty basic. All I do is put a bit of a gable style roof on there. Again, these are another simple one to do. It takes more time literally to paint these than it does to whittle them. You could certainly spend a lot more time and add a bit more detail, but they're so small and they're usually viewed from a bit of a distance, so they don't have to hold a heck of a lot of detail. But if you choose to put a lot more detail in, then by all means, just kind of hopefully inspiring a few people to give it a shot. Come up with your own little village ideas here. And we're just defining the soffit ends of the roof here. Again, I don't take any measurements on these. I just go with what feels right. There you go. You can see. You can go. One side done. Make sure we got it pretty even, and we'll do the next side. The last about half of this video is just me painting it, the trees and the houses. So if you're not interested in seeing the painting, when I finish the second house, you can call it good right there, unless you want to see me paint. I kind of breeze through that as well, so you don't have to sit through that. It's pretty basic stuff. But if you're interested in watching me paint them, I also included that at the end of the video as well. And again, I'm just finding the base of this little house here. This one's approximately a half an inch in height from ground to rooftop. There you go. Kind of a bit of a little house in there. I add a little bit of design to the top of the roof. I give both of them a bit of a Nordic feel. Add a little beam on both of the roofs, or both of the little houses here, just to add a little bit extra detail on such a small piece. And that's all I'm doing here. I'm just kind of leaving a little beam of wood on the top. Again, I'm not following any pattern or any. I'm just kind of making it up as I go. So if you're doing this, come up with your own little creative ideas, little details. I like to try to see if I could find a way to add some interest without going overboard in detail. And sometimes that's the way I like to whittle. You can certainly add a lot more detail. Sometimes that's fine as well. I tend to like to keep them relatively simple and just add enough features here or there that, to catch a bit of attention. And that's all, without being overwhelming. These are all simple cuts, all stop and push cuts. That's pretty much it. That's all you're doing in this whittle. It's very simple. This is definitely the type of whittle that a beginner could tackle as well. Here I'm just adding a little bit of a belly in that beam on the top there, just to make it look a little more interesting. Just tucking the gable end in underneath the beam there. Just because, for no reason. There you go. Kind of simple little house. The next one I do, I add a bit more detail on the top, and there you go. That one's pretty much all done. Give you a look there. Simple. Cut this one off, and same kind of thing, same idea, and then just smooth out the bottom there a bit. So we got one house done, one more to go. We're making some headway. I'm going to give this one at first I was thinking chalet style, but as I started whittling it, I kind of changed my mind. I wanted to make it just a little bit taller than a half inch. So as you can see, I'm coming down just slightly below that one. So it probably works out to be, maybe 5/8 of an inch instead of half an inch or so. But again, don't worry about the measurements. There you go. I found the base of that house, and then we'll finish up the roof. At first, I was thinking as I was doing this, well, I have a lot of wood on the top there. Maybe I'll put a chimney, and that's also something you could do. And that was my intention as I started to whittle this. I said, you know what, I'm going to actually turn this into some type of chimney stack on there. But I don't know. I wanted to keep the somewhat of a Nordic feel to it. So I added a little bit of an interesting beam look on the top on this one. This is the part where you have to be, if you do something like this, be very careful because you're cutting down straight into the end grain, and I'm holding it, and to be honest with you, in a position I probably would not be holding it if it wasn't for the camera. Trying to keep it on camera, if you break that piece of wood, there's nothing to stop the knife from probably hitting your finger. So I would avoid doing it, following, if you do it this way, following it exactly like I'm doing it, whittle it in a safer way. I'm just doing it that manner to keep it under the camera there. I decorated these trees and homes for a Christmas theme, but of course, there's nothing saying you have to do a Christmas theme. You could also just make a regular natural scene and avoid all the little light detail that I put on at the end. And then we're just adding the same kind of soffit detail on this one. So there you go. We got that one pretty much done. Just going to clean up the gable side on this one. It helps if you have a sharp knife when you're doing these. You don't want to push too hard because these are, with whittles this small, it's very easy to push if you're pushing too hard because your knife's kind of dull. You're going to go right through and break pieces off. There you go. We got it kind of laid out as it'll be in the piece, and then I'll give you a look here what I do for painting it. I just used some double-sided tape and stuck the pieces on just to make it easier than trying to hold them. Initially, I use a little watercolor. Here you can see the pan over to the right over there. I'm just grabbing some a mix of green and a little bit of red just to tone it down a bit. And I just go through and I find that the watercolors actually hold up really well. I really like using watercolors for the bulk painting, bulk coverage. And I switch over to acrylic for the snow and the little Christmas decorations. Here I'm going to do a little dry brushing. I just put a little paint on the end of on the bristles there, as you can see, and then I wipe the vast majority of it off. And then I'll just drag it across the ends of the trees just to highlight the ends, make it look like maybe a little bit of snow on the trees over there. There you go. Make it look a little bit like they have maybe a little bit of dusting of snow. Then I'll just put a little more white acrylic paint along the base there. That'll help it blend into the base on the piece of cork that we eventually will attach it to. So there you go, all the little trees before I decorate them for Christmas. Then we'll do the house. Same idea. Both homes, I'm just going to put a little watercolor paint on them, and then come back and add the roof color, which will be white. That'll be acrylic paint, and then I add little dots of color for Christmas light decorations or Christmas balls, whatever they may be. There you go. I got the watercolor portions of that done. I made that house, the one with the higher roof, a little bit on the yellow side. Now I'm just adding, as you can see here, some. I pulled out the acrylic craft paint, yellow and brown. We're going to add little windows in there. So I just I'm using a toothpick, and I just dab a little bit of the yellow paint on the toothpick, and I go along and I make windows all over the place. I'll speed up so you don't have to. It's not the most fun thing to watch, but like I said, it literally takes longer to paint these than it does to whittle them. Here we'll put the little brown for the door there. The same thing. We'll use brown for that door, and then add some windows on this one as well. There you go. I put some white paint on the roofs right here. You can see. I want it to kind of look like it has maybe snow on it. It helps the contrast of the white against the other colors also helps a bit. For such small little whittles, I think you need a little contrast in there, so the white does kind of stand out. Now we just take the toothpick and we take little dabs in there, and we go around and we put our little Christmas decorations on the tree, or trees, I should say. And originally I wasn't going to do anything to the houses, and I'm not exactly sure whether or not that was a good idea, but in the end I decided to put lights on them as well. And you can see I used yellow, I'm using blue, and I used, red, yellow, and blue. You can see here I kind of went around, I stuck little dabs of paint. Again, I wasn't exactly sure that was the best idea to do that or not, but yeah, give it a shot. You know. There you go. We kind of got our houses ready for the Christmas season. Now what I do is I paint the, I didn't show you, but the cork that they sit on, I just paint that white. And before the paint dries, and I'm painting the bottom of the bases, before the paint dries, I just kind of stick the little figures onto the homes and the trees. And when the paint dries, it kind of sticks to it. You could use a regular PVA type glue as well to adhere those. It's probably, if you want to make it more permanent, then that's probably a good idea. Here I was just trying. I had that sawdust, and I thought, well, maybe if I add a little bit of paint to a little bit of the water I was using to clean my brushes, and I put some of that sawdust in there, it'll look maybe a little bit like snow, and I can add that to the top of the cork. In the end, I'm not really sure it really made all that much of a difference, but I tried it because I was thinking as I was cutting it that might be something to do. So I'm just mixing it around, and I'm going to grab my paintbrush here, and then I just kind of go around and I throw some of that, in there, and it helps. I pull a little pipette out and I pour some of it in there. It helps move it, go around and helps everything kind of stick together a little bit better as well. You can kind of see the top there. And that's really about it. Whittle's all done. I hope you enjoyed that, and let me know in the comments what you think. And I hope you all have a great whittling week. Talk to you soon. Take care.